Who do you think is likely to succeed Raila Amolo Odinga in Luo Nyanza politics? That's a very sensitive topic in these sides of the world, but it's currently ongoing. Will that person be Okoth Obado? Because so far, Okoth Obado has announced that he's going to defect from ODM party and focus on revamping his PDP party. And his main aim is to kick out Raila Amolo Odinga out of Nyanza politics. Do you think Okoth Obado is going to succeed? And will that person be Governor Evans Kidero? As a matter of fact, when Evans Kidero was elected the governor of Nairobi in 2013, most people projected that Kidero was automatically going to succeed Raila Amolo Odinga, because Kidero was going to serve Nairobi between 2013 and 2017 and 2017 and 2022. Raila Odinga was also projected to serve as the president of the Republic of Kenya between 2013 and 2017 and 2017 and 2022. But as fate would have it, Evans Kidero failed to retain his seat in 2017. But he's already making a comeback through Homa Bay County. And will that person be Babu Owino? Babu Owino is young, vibrant, and Babu Owino only requires mentorship. Babu Owino has the ability, if you ask me, to succeed Raila Amolo Odinga after he retires from office. And will that person be James Orengo or Professor Nyang'? In this video today, I want us to discuss Okoth Obado factor in Raila Odinga succession politics in Luo Nyanza. But before we do that, if you're watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time you produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Now let us get back to the main issue. Okoth Obado has announced that he's going to revamp his PDP party. Okoth Obado was first elected as the governor for Migori County in 2013 on a PDP ticket. Out of the entire Nyanza, it was only Okoth Obado who was elected on a different party ticket. And Okoth Obado actually defeated Professor Okomo Oyugi, one of the close allies of Raila Amolo Odinga. And he served in the first term despite the problems. And in 2017, Okoth Obado made a comeback through the ODM party. And it was expected that Okoth Obado was going to have it easy. But as fate would have it, Okoth Obado was never embraced fully in ODM party. And of late, Okoth Obado has been undivided on really what he wants in 2022. Because remember, the constitution, the BBI recommendations, did not factor in the interest of the governors. Okoth Obado is serving his second term in office. The expectations was that Okoth Obado was going to compete for a regional governorship. But that one is now not considered in the constitution. So Okoth Obado of late has been thinking of running as a member of parliament for Uriri constituency. The main motivation behind that is that once elected as a member of parliament for Uriri constituency, then Okoth Obado can be appointed as a cabinet secretary. And Okoth Obado has also been thinking of contesting as a senator for Migori County, in the hope that once elected as a senator, he can be appointed as a cabinet secretary, or he can even be majority leader or minority leader at the Senate. So Okoth Obado, as we speak today, is a man whose vision is geared towards remaining in power. How can Okoth Obado remain in power? And for those who follow Okoth Obado's politics very closely, during the Building Bridges Initiative process, Okoth Obado traversed this country and almost the entire country with Raila Amolo Odinga. And in some instances, Okoth Obado would even try to appear in functions where he was not invited. I remember when Raila Odinga was in Narok, Okoth Obado was the only other leader who accompanied Raila Amolo Odinga. And Okoth Obado was being received massively across the country. And Kenyans by that time started questioning why Obado was actually popular. And let me take you back a bit. When President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga came to Nyanza for the first time, after the handshake, I think it was in 2019, President Uhuru Kenyatta landed in Ahero for the launch of the interchange. Then the convoy came all the way from Ahero to Kisumu. I was lucky to be right inside the president's convoy. Actually, I think our car was the first one, then the presidential escort, then I think Raila going lower. So I observed something on our way. Okoth Obado was being cheered. Like when we arrived in Kondele, Okoth Obado was being cheered. And when we arrived in Kondele, President Uhuru Kenyatta really didn't want to speak. He wanted people to go to Mamboleo's showground where the event was. But people forced him. But even Ruto received a lot of support then, and the president had to allow him to greet people there. Then we went to the stadium, which is Mamboleo's showground. And immediately we entered Mamboleo's showground, it was also clear that Obado was actually a favorite. But I noted something, because I'm a politician. I noted something. That Fred Okengo Matiang'i was not present in Mamboleo showground. And even Junet Mohammed, when he was given a chance to speak, he did not speak on behalf of Luo Nyanza. He handed over to John Mbadi to speak. And then later on, when I inquired, I realized that there was two things. Okoth Obado and William Ruto had actually mobilized crowds in Kondele and in Mamboleo. They wanted Fred Matiang'i to be heckled. And Fred Matiang'i got this, and that's why he was not in Mamboleo. So Okoth Obado understands politics. I also remember in Mombasa, Okoth Obado received the wildest cheers from the ground there. Of course, there are people who just love Okoth Obado because of his brand of politics. But can Okoth Obado succeed Raila Odinga in Luo Nyanza? That's the question that we must address. Can Okoth Obado succeed in replacing Raila Odinga? Can he succeed where James Orengo failed? Can he succeed where Anyang' Nyong'o failed? Can he succeed where Shemu Chuodo, of all the people, failed? His strategy is very simple. Okoth Obado's first strategy is to rally rebels in Nyanza around PDP. Because ODM party is a strong party. PDP managed to get a few members of parliament, MCAs, and even senators elected. Okoth Obado hopes that if he focused on this particular party, then he can get a very big number of elected members of parliament through that particular party. And I don't rule him out, because what we know is that ODM party in Nyanza is strong, but again, because of the way they manage their nominations, it's possible that a rebellion is likely to be engineered. So Okoth Obado is hoping that he's going to rally rebels. But can he succeed through rebellion? Can he succeed by rallying some of these rebels? Because some of these rebels, in my considered opinion, are very unpopular with the people. So that's his first strategy. And it can work for him. Because Okoth Obado, I know, is also very strong. He's a mobilizer. If it's money, he can spend. But can he succeed? Number two, his second strategy is to divide Luo Nyanza. So that he's going to focus on South Nyanza. South Nyanza is basically Homa Bay, Migori, Kuria, and Kisii. For a long time, especially when you talk of Luo Nyanza, there's always been this Central Nyanza and South Nyanza. But can he succeed? Again, can you succeed really in dividing Luos towards those lines? I don't think so, because let me give you an example. Someone like Evans Kidero. Evans Kidero is Jagem. But it's Jagem from that other side of South Nyanza in Rango in Homa Bay County. But there's game in Siaya. So Kidero could be closer to Jakoyo Midio than say Obado, who comes from that side. Take for example Sakwa, for example. There is Sakwa where Raila Odinga comes from in Bondo, and there is another Sakwa in Migori. So these Sakwa guys are related. So the Sakwa people in Bondo and Migori can decide to work together because they view themselves as brothers. They might be closer. The Sakwa in Bondo and Sakwa in Migori can be maybe closer than Okoth Obado, who is in Migori. So it will also be very difficult to split or to divide Luos along those lines. You even talk of Kogelo, you know. You saw Obama's relatives from South Nyanza going to Kogelo. So they're really relatives. And Raila Odinga, I remember one time during the burial of our friend Roy Kohada, actually explained to us how these guys moved from this point up to that point. So if Okoth Obado is planning to divide Nyanza based on Central and South Nyanza, I don't think it might really work for him. The third strategy which is using, which I know is going to work for him, is that he's planning to use PDP party to be an alternative party to the ODM party. As a matter of fact, and I've always opined and told people separately, privately, and even publicly, that if ODM party is not careful, then they are going to lose a lot of support in Luo Nyanza. In the last election, they never lost a lot because there was that Nyanza presidential campaign team, which focused primarily on campaigning for the ODM candidates in Nyanza. But based on the performances of members of parliament, of MCS, of some governors, I don't think this region will be willing to allow ODM party to botch nominations the way they've always done. And then after botching those nominations, then they give people candidates to support. This is where Obado is going to score. Should ODM party attempt to botch party nominations, PDP and any other party will succeed in winning the support. And this is where majority of other parties are actually waiting. And the situation would be worse if Raila Odinga will not be a presidential candidate. But if he's going to be a presidential candidate, then they're fine. If Raila Odinga is going to be presidential candidate and with a bit of element of support from the system, then things will be okay. His fourth strategy is that Okoth Obado is hoping that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be shortchanged by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And once Raila Odinga is shortchanged by President Uhuru Kenyatta, then Raila Odinga is not going to run as a presidential candidate. And the moment Raila Odinga is not going to run as a presidential candidate, then people like Okoth Obado are going to have free hands in doing whatever they want. If Raila Odinga will not be a presidential candidate, the equation in Nyanza is going to change. And basically, this is what Obado is hoping for. And will he succeed? I don't know. Because Okoth Obado is accusing ODM party leader, Raila Odinga, of misleading Luo Nyanza on the building bridges initiative process. And I remember during the BBI debates at the county assemblies, Migori County was one of the counties which voted towards the tail end of the voting. Remember, Sia became number 1, I think followed by Kisumu or Homa Bay, then Busia. And Kenyans expected Migori to be at least top 10. Migori County was around number 30 something. And why were they number 30 something? I think Okoth Obado rallied them. But the funny thing is that once they voted yes, Okoth Obado called the press and announced the results and that they were going to support the building bridges initiative process. Today he's saying that Raila Odinga misled the region. And you know why he's doing that? The truth of the matter is that the building bridges initiative process is benefiting Central Kenya more than Luo Nyanza. And majority of Luos are either supporting the BBI because Raila Odinga is supporting it, or they are supporting it because of the devolution, more money to the counties. But in real sense, they believe that a place like Nyatike ought to have received additional constituency. They believe that a place like Karachuonyo ought to have received additional constituency. So they have been shortchanged. So Okoth Obado is planning to take advantage of those shortcomings to hit on Raila Amolo Odinga. Let us wait and see if Okoth Obado is going to succeed. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.